So in the 80s is when I first started wearing colognes and fragrances. That's when I first started buying and I was being gifted the fragrances, and that's when I first started really enjoying how great men's fragrances were back then. Well, there was once a brand called Milano Cento, and they had a fragrance called Milano Cento for him. This is a 2016 re-release of the fragrance Milano Cento for him, but it was a very popular fragrance back in the 80s called Classic. So I'm going to review Milano Cento for him for you today. We also have a giveaway here on YouTube, and we also have a giveaway on Instagram. So if you want to find out about this fragrance and have a chance at winning prizes, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. I appreciate you tuning in today, but if this is the first time you tuned into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to it, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. And I'm absolutely obsessed with fragrances from the 80s and 70s. That's when I first started discovering them. That's when I first started smelling them. So I'm always looking into the past when I'm smelling fragrances. I'm always saying, okay, this one has inspirations from there and there and there. So when Milano Cento was being re-released, I got really excited, and I've been following them on Instagram for a while. And finally, their fragrances are being sold here in the States at Lucky Scent of all places. So if you want to find out more about Milano Cento for him, please click the link in the info box to Lucky Scent and go over there. You can also pick up samples or pick up a bottle of the fragrance. So this is a 2016 launch. It comes in two sizes, a 50 ml for $55, 100 ml for $95. There's also samples for sale for $3 there. You can do that all there. Now this is, again, a re-release of an 80s called Classic fragrance. So it's a 2016 launch. It's Eau De Toilette concentration, and it's actually a great price for this fragrance. But what do we have for notes here for Milano Cento for him? So in this fragrance you have notes of lemon, bergamot, petitgrain, lavender, rosemary, basil, clary sage, sandalwood, patchouli, clove, cinnamon, amber, and musk. Now, when I was reading you those notes, and if you have been following me for a while, I'm sure you kind of have an idea of the kind of fragrance this is. This is an aromatic, spicy fragrance, almost going to the direction of a Fougere. For me, this almost wears like a Barbershop Fougere fragrance, but it's very modern, but really definitely tapped into the past, the history of how fragrances were. This fragrance starts off very zingy and sparkly, very effervescent at the top, lots of different citruses, but for me what's at play mostly at the top is the lemon. It's juicy, it's citric, and not overly tart, but just the right balance of lemon. I'm assuming there's definitely touches of bergamot in here as well, which is credited in the notes, but for me it's all about the lemon with petitgrain. There's a bitter green quality to this top notes along with the lemon here, which is something that I really like in men's fragrances, or in fragrances in general, just citrus fragrances. Immediately the lavender is starting to poke in and kind of like appear in the top notes. So lavender is pretty big here, but it's not only about lavender here. There's a big potpourri of aromatics at the in the heart for this fragrance, but what's prominent for me is definitely the lavender with rosemary and basil. Clary sage is there. I don't find it to be overly prominent because the other aromatic notes of lavender, rosemary, basil are really taken over and dominating. Now the fragrance dries down woody. Sandalwood is pretty prominent, but for me, this note is not mentioned, but I get big doses of Oakmoss when this fragrance is drying in the base. I don't know where that's coming from, but I definitely think it's there. It's just not credited, and that's what I like about it. And this is when the fragrance actually kind of like taps into the past, the history. For me, in the base, it's lots of sandalwood with patchouli, but the cinnamon and clove are also pretty prominent, and then of course musk. There is a sexy musk in here that kind of hints at the 80s. Of course it does hint at the 80s, and I'm thinking of fragrances such as YSL's Jazz. I'm thinking of fragrances such as Jules from Dior. Those kind of fragrances, maybe perhaps even Azzaro pour Homme or Dracar Noir. It kind of hints at those kind of barbershop-y aromatic Fougeres, but this one definitely has that slight bit of musky animalic dry down, which gives it that very sexy edge to it. It's not an overwhelming fragrance. The animalic sexiness, the muskiness is faint, but you definitely pick it up. And that's what gives it that very sexy edge to this fragrance, and it kind of like takes me back to when I was first smelling fragrances. You know, when I first discovered fragrances like Kouros and things like that. I'm not saying this is like Kouros, but whatever that animalic touch is in Kouros kind of appears in this fragrance as well. At least for me it does, and that's what I like about it. It's a great release. It reminds me of my dad. It reminds me of my uncles who used to wear, you know, colognes, men's fragrances and things like that, and that makes me excited about fragrances. It's not overly modern and it's not overly classic. It's kind of like a nice balance of both classic and modern men's fragrances. So if you don't know Milano Cento for Him by Milano Cento, I suggest you check it out. Of course, as I said, they're not that expensive. It's about the same price as other men's designer fragrances, and it definitely acts like one of those types of fragrances. But for me, this one's got a lot more interesting things happening than going to, you know, Macy's counter and smelling the men's fragrances nowadays and everything smelling similar. At least this one has some unique twists to the fragrance that I really like and enjoy, and it takes me back to the day when I was first discovering men's fragrances. So now to the giveaway. We have 10 samples to give away for Milano Cento for Him here on this channel. All you have to do is put down what your favorite classic men's fragrance is. Please put your state as well, and also if you feel like, put down what you liked about this review, and then head over to Instagram where we are doing a full bottle giveaway of Milano Cento for Him for one lucky subscriber or follower of my Instagram account there, and you'll find the rules there for participating in the giveaway there. Other than that, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on Milano Cento. Have you discovered it? Have you seen it? Have you been curious about it? Do you like classic men's fragrances? Do you like more modern offerings? Let me know. Put some comments down so that I can find out. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.